Hello, we're back. I'll just wait a few minutes to get everything caught up. Hi, yes, we are back. So I'm going to wait so that we can make sure everybody's back that wants to follow along with us. But these are the pieces that I mentioned as we broke for lunch. You need the 6x8, the 6x9, and the 4.5x8. And this is what we're going to create. We have a pocket, and we will be using the 6x8 paper pad. These are the G45. I had extras. So this comes from the 6x8 paper pad. That's the back side. So we'll be using scraps from the gold over here. And then we have the blue. I just stuck these in here. I'd cut them, and that's what you're going to put on your G45 on your other tags. So we have the flaps. And this is just a die I have from Heartfelt Creations. So we will be using some pieces from our ephemera packs. And I do want to grab something for those ephemera packs. I forgot. My plastic storage. And I use those. I use these, and now is the time to pick them up. Before I put my stuff in here, I want to show you the papers you're going to use. I'm going to use this blue and umber, the steel blue and umber. I'll be using our heritage and the family tree. Now you have two family trees. Put one aside. We're going to use it for an inside where it folds completely out, which is on this page. So the family tree will completely be used. So you need one for that. And then we're going to be using the back side for this other piece. It's the back of this for the inside of our pocket. Excuse me. So this is the pieces we'll be using. Plus the gold, and you should have some of the gold left. But because we're going to be using some of the ephemera, the bits and pieces, this is great for storage, and they are on sale everywhere right now. I buy them with the totes. You can get them at Michael's, Joann's. And I'm about ready to say to heck with this packaging. There we go. So we're going to dump that in there because we use a lot of this. And then these are just great to tuck into the pockets. And then we're going to be using the portrait pieces. So bits and pieces and portrait pieces. And then they also had a frame pieces. And I did not use any of the frame pieces with this. I used the chipboard frames though. Okay, those will be all ready to go. I just need a spot to put them in. So we have the 4.5x8, 6x8, and 6x9. So these are going to be what we're going to create here. We're creating this, and the 6x9 will create this pocket. So I want to start with my 6x9 because when it comes to pockets, I always cut these a hair short. Our pages are 8 inches. My pocket is 9 inches, but a true 9 inch is going to be too long. It's not going to fit nice and tight. So again, I'll be removing a hair. Remember not to grab that. And then my 6 by 8, 4.5 by 8. I need to make sure they're the same height. And they're not. So we can go ahead and fix that if you need. Oh yeah, cut that over. So we're going to start by just scoring our pieces. It doesn't matter. I'm going to start with my 4.5 by 8 and score it 1/2 inch. My 6 by 8, I will score it 1/2 inch with the 6 across the top. 4.5 across the top, score it 1/2 inch, and then we're going to score our pocket. And I've got what I'm going to say is the 9 inch at the top. Just score it 1/2 inch, and to the 6 inch across the top, and score it 1/2 inch, and again 9 across the top. So we have 3 sides scored. It's easier to see on the back. So I want to start with the pocket, and I do mat my pieces before I put them down. Excuse me. So right now I'm just going to fold up those 2 sides. Open my book, see it nice and flat, and I'm going to check the pocket to see how it fits side to side. Fits good. For any reason you need to adjust it, really is easy just to kind of stretch that out. Oh my gosh, I need a drink. Hello from Texas. We're just continuing working on from this morning when we started. About this morning, about 11:30 my time. So I'm going to miter my corners straight across the bottom, or however you'd like to miter those corners. And we'll cut across this one. And then just remove that. So our paper slides in nice and easy. Nope, they look, I'll trim that edge just a little. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Grabbing my 4.5 by 8. And my 6 by 8. Now, the main thing on this is hinge to the right, and then the smaller piece hinge to the left, and it's going to sit on top. And I'm going to go ahead and miter my corners. For both pieces. Get those out of the way, so we don't get them stuck in our paper somewhere we don't want it. Remember, the bigger one hinge to the right, hinge to the left on the 4.5 by 8, because it's going to attach to this outer side that does not have a hinge. So you can go ahead and attach that now. To the side without the hinge. You know what, Noreen? I do use glue for everything now, except for my cover where we use the score tape sheets. It's more permanent. It does not, weather does not seem to affect it because we go through hot, cold here in Utah and the snow and heat, and it's permanent. Art glitter glue is permanent. Now, other adhesives, I don't know. This is the only one I like. So we're going to mount these pieces now before we put them down. But let's go ahead and make sure that our flap that's going to sit over here is not too long or anything. And then I do use a magnet here. So I don't really need my pocket. But let's go ahead and put it down. I need to show you. So laying my pocket there, laying my flap on top to the outer edge. I did use a magnet. And it does have to go down, because if we don't put it down and we start matting, well, you know what's going to happen, right? So what I'm going to do is just use my clothespins. Pocket's going to stay there pretty well. Because I want to open this flap, I'm going to put the magnet on the flap, then on the back side on the pocket. That's why I'm using large. Now you can also do a seam binding tie or a ribbon tie. You don't have to use the magnets. Main thing is you want it to be on the pocket and not where the pocket ends. And I can kind of see at the bottom here where my pocket is. Just gonna release that. Don't worry. Before we put anything down, I mean, we'll mat, and then I always check. Now I'm just going to let my magnet grab. See where that hits. So I can even adjust it if I need to right now. And I do, because I got it a little high. Need to bring it down just a hair. I'm going to move it. Well, pretty much, you're going to know, because, and this is the only tricky part if you like to mat, and I do like to mat it off when I'm doing it this way. Okay. Now we should be good. So first I'm going to mat my pocket. And my pocket is now 5.5. Mine's about 7 7/8. So measure yours. Because I use my dolly cutter. I'm going to now cut 5 3/8 straight down here. And I'll tell you why. The pocket, the pocket is, we're going in from, it's not at the bottom of our page, and we want this to be directionally correct. So I will cut 5 3/8, plus it's going to save a lot of paper. And then I'll start with 7 7/8 and see how it fits. Well, the only thing, Noreen, it will freeze. So don't ever keep your art glitter glue in your craft room if it's in a basement or if it's cold. So I do need to cut this down to 7 3/4. Great fit. Go ahead and mat. I know, isn't that side? It's so, the whole collection is just gorgeous. Sorry about the noise. I'm having some internet work done. So my husband chooses to do it right now. My book is sideways, so I can put this on. So I am going to go ahead and put my pocket down. Now, one thing, I stop where my page stops. Hi, Connie. I don't want to go clear to the bottom or you're going to have problems. So it's about 1/16 of an inch from the bottom. And that's where my page, when we were folding them over, that's where it ends. But do come about 16, or just a hair up from that bottom of that hinge. You don't want it to go on the hinge or over the hinge. It's hard to see, but that's where mine stops, the page, because I trimmed it. And that's where my pocket's going to sit. Now, you can see it is pretty easy to do a pocket. You could mat it right here if you wanted. I prefer to do it off. That way, if I make a mistake, then I'm able to fix it a lot faster. Well, we started this morning at 11:30 and we did take a break for lunch. I don't usually get hungry. I was hungry today. All right. That's all set to go. And now we need to go ahead and mat. We need to mat this one. So I want to start, I like to start with the big pieces first. So this inside piece is again 5 3/8. And pull these pieces over because you're going to use them. So it is 5 3/8 by 7 7/8. So I'm going to cut the second half the same way. And I cut the 5 3/8 first. That's going to leave this strip because I use this strip. I used it over here. So do cut down the long side. Janice, it's on my website at countrycraftcreations.com, but right now it's not. I'm having the small Saturday sale at 15% off my website, but the kits and the artisan cardstock are not on the website, so it'll be back on tomorrow. I don't have any way to just remove, certain things. So, oh, well, hi, Annie. Thank you. So you cannot, yeah, the kit will be back up on my website under kits. Now, if you want to get notifications or see what we're doing, I have 13 design team members for Country Craft Creations. We have a Facebook group called Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, and you're going to want to join. That's where we post all these kits. So the members in the group get first, they get notifications first of all of the kits and what the designers are doing, plus the giveaways, the games, the fun. Like we're having a week-long virtual retreat starting next Saturday. So you'll want to join that group so that you get up-to-date notifications and first-time notifications. And hi, everybody. Hi, those of you just coming in. And it's just a great community anyway, if I may say so myself, because the crafters are wonderful in there. And you don't want to miss away on all the giveaways. Everybody loves a good giveaway. Okay, so when you're using the glue, remember the kit is $64.99. Has everything I use except for your cardstock and adhesive, of course. You get your ribbon. There's some ribbons in here. You get your ephemera packs. Now for the inside here, I'm just using the blue. And in the kit, you have 2 pieces. So this is now 4 inches. So I'm going to cut straight down because you want to preserve as much of your paper as possible. 3 7/8 by 7 7/8. Now on the inside is where when I was all done, so it's a chance to take your dies. And I just made a pocket, and that was left over. That's one of my favorite sheets. But it'll be a cool bookmark. So you can, this isn't in your kit, it's just a die. And I know every crafter has a pile of dies. Connie, on Facebook, you know, they did some updates and changes. So you may have to go on the 3 dots and update update what you want to see first. But we are working on this, and we are going to be working on this album again on Monday. So if you don't want to, I mean, my intent was in the beginning to leave this plain just for my 3x4 photos. Or 3x5, however you like to cut yours. Now you've got a magnet there, so. Okay, now for the front. This is where I took the strip. We're going to cut it 7 7/8. Then we'll measure that side. And I have the blue. And from those ephemera cards that I dumped in the beginning, I took this one. And we will go ahead and Candace, it'll probably be the 11 excuse me, the 11:30. I don't know what's the matter with my throat today. Dry weather. And it'll more than likely be like 11:30, I think. I'll check. I put it on scrapbookers. Okay, so I need to cut this to 7 7/8. But never fear. It always stays recorded. Oh, we have to do that back side just a minute. I like to open mine flat to work on. Strip goes down. And then we'll measure. So now I'm going to cut a 2 5/8. So measure yours. I always cut it a little bigger at first. 2 5/8 by 7 7/8. Oh, I can't cut on here. So before you cut, I did cut my length first. I wanted this big piece. And then 2 5/8. My big cutter doesn't like to cut little pieces. And because I like a space, I can now take another 1/8 of an inch off. So we'll just take it down to 2 1/2. It's always better though to cut larger because you can cut down than it is to cut smaller. Okay. Okay, now the ephemera piece, what I did here, just laid it down, but I'm only gluing this back side because you want to get a photo underneath there. Sure I don't get it on the blue. Okay, now we need to do that inside, this inside back. And there you go. There's my blue piece. So that's going to fit pretty good. And it just depends. I used blue on the bottom, but because I had taken a piece of the blue, what did I take? Oh, the green. I used it for the spine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these two instead of these two. Now, you can cut into your blue. You have a second sheet if you want. You can also use a piece of this gold. Oh, maybe we'll use the gold to match the pocket. Let's do that. So when I do my piecing, it's kind of with the pieces that are left over so that I don't waste a lot of paper. And this is 5 3/8, so it's the same width as the pocket. And this was that bottom piece from the pocket. See, and this was from the piece from the inside of the flap. So they're both already the perfect width. We just need to cut off all I do, and actually, you don't even have to cut this off because that looks like a border piece when it's turned over. The wording is on the back if you want to use that, which I do. There's no sense in cutting it off because it just blends nicely. Then I'll use a piece of gold for the bottom from our pocket. So I'm just going to set this little guy aside, or you could even turn this upside down. So see how that border has no writing? Again, that would look good at the bottom, which would kind of give it some reversal on your papers here. So let me give you the measurements. This just turns out to be 4 5/8. I'm not even going to cut. I'm not going to change it. Width was already 4 3/8, so it was pre-cut because of the pocket. Now, we do have some of the gold left. If you want to go plain, I did use a piece here though on the bottom of this mat. So I think I'm going to go ahead and save it for that mat. Set that aside. And now I do want to cut. Oh no, I don't, because we need to put a measurement on our pocket first. We're going to set this aside for a second, but we cannot put the matting down until this goes down. But I do want to go ahead and cut the piece for inside my pocket, which is the back side of one of those. And I just put my ruler down 1 inch. So it's 3 1/2. So it's going to be 3 1/2. I'm just going to cut it off the bottom. 3 1/2 by 7 7/8. Wasn't quite down. One side was not inked. And you know what I just did? I just put it down. What was I thinking, guys? Nobody yelled. I didn't hear you. Erps. I hope you didn't just follow along with me. What was it? I wasn't thinking. I just got done saying, don't put that down, didn't I? So, good thing I grabbed it. Just pull it back a little bit because that needs to go down. But I've saved it. Okay. Sorry about that. I didn't do the bottom because I'm going to wait for a scrap. Good Lord. I should not. I just got done telling you that too. I'm as bad as my kids. Well, sometimes you do have to wonder when it comes to me, Noreen. There we go. But we're okay. Now, even if I couldn't have gotten that up, I would have put it on top and put another piece of paper on top. This isn't super thick, so it would have been okay. So if you're in the background swearing at me right now, hopefully you weren't at that part. I would have put it down, like I said, and then just put another piece on top. We would have been fine. Magnet holds. Now, like I said, you can either go ahead and cut a piece, which I would take off of the tree. But I'm doing a quick double check here to make sure. I don't believe I did. No, I didn't. So I think I will go ahead and do that. And we'll have it kind of blend in here. Or you can wait, or you can just go ahead and cut into your second blue piece. Like I said, or you can hang out and wait. But I think I'll go ahead and use this gold. So I know I need a 4 7/8 of an inch piece. Oh yeah, every mistake is, it definitely does bring on those new opportunities. So mine's 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. And I want this to go this way. It is kind of directional. So I'm going to just use my small cutter for this so you can see. I'm just going to cut a piece that is 5 3/8 from this way. And then I'll just set that aside because it's a nice piece. Then I will remeasure 3/4. And I will trim from there. Still nice big piece. And now I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off. You want it at the bottom of the tree, you certainly could. I call places like this scrap-tunities because they're great opportunities to use the scraps in those areas. Whoops, wrong side. Okay, for the inside, you'll have another piece. And, oh, someone asked during the break, there is not a PDF. This is mine, and it is in your kit. So when you've bought the kit, you do get the PDF. But otherwise, you need to just kind of keep a notebook. Is going to be your best friend with my tutorials if you're new to them. I have stacks of them. Just stacks. I even write my own tutorials in here. So this is what they're in. We even sell a cute little notebook at Country Craft Creations, so you can put your tutorials in there. Anyway, these are just full of my tutorials. This is the new one. So a notebook, jot everything down. So you're 6 1/8 by 7 1/8. Now this is the little mat that goes inside the pocket, and that's where your 6 by 8 will come in handy, because I used this one. And what I did is now I cut this down to 6. This is 6 by 8, and I did this 6 1/8 by 7 1/8 because it any longer it just didn't fit great in the pocket. So I'm going to cut this down to 6 by 7. No, I don't need to cut the width. That was right. I just need to cut the length. The width is great. So it's 6 by 8. We need to take a 1/2 inch off the bottom. And yes, I hang on to these little pieces till I'm finished. And the 1/2 inch at the top. So we kind of keep it symmetrical. Fits perfect. And down that goes. Okay, we can't leave the back plain, right? So here's my back side. Again, I had more blue because I used that green when I cut. So again, from the pieces and parts that we've used, here we go. I'm going to have some gold at the bottom. How on earth do you lose your... Oh, they're under my thing guide. That's fine. Oh, I have a piece of the blue. That's right. I have it. So you're going to notice one thing. They're not exactly the same size. And again, it's because I call it the Scraptunity. I don't ever have them usually the same size. So I'll give you the measurements for both. If you happen to have, and well, you didn't use that back side of this, which is the green that I put on my underneath our hinges. Noreen, you'll need 2 sheets of each design, the sticker sheet, the 6 by 8 paper pad, and then you need 2 of each of the solid papers. So originally this is 3 3/4, the blue, by 5 3/8. But now I'm going to go with this one. So I don't really worry about the sizes when I'm piecing it together, even in a tutorial, because you never have the same scraps, usually left over twice. If you can buy it locally, I would definitely get 2 packages. You'll need 2 packages for this tutorial. It is going to be, actually, it's going to be easier if we just cut it down to 4 inches on our sizing. And then we're just going to start laying it out like kind of like a patchwork quilt. So the length, though, my length is 4 7/8. So I want my accent piece to be the same length. It's going to be 4 7/8. but it only needs to be 1 7/8 wide. And 4 inches long. Then we'll be able to fill in the bottom. Good night. What did I do here? And this is why papers are never the same size. 4 7/8. And then the bottom is going to be 2 inches. And we already know the width, 6 1/8, so it's going to be 2 by 6. Okay, so I'll get I'll ink all my edges. We'll put that down and we'll be done with the front of page 1. I'm going to start with the biggest piece first. That's just kind of for eyeballing. Now remember too, I think this album's going to look great. You can also use your Christmas paper. I think it'd be a great December daily album. We've already done our December daily. I always do that in January and February of the first of the year. So we're not dealing with it now, but it could be a great baby album or you don't have to use, if you can't get this paper, of course, but this is pretty cool paper. Simple Stories did a great job. And then we'll fill in that spot in the bottom. Now that's just a great journaling spot, photo there. And anything else you want to add to the side, I'm going to add a butterfly from the sticker sheet. No, we didn't even use that one. Whoops. That's the banner. So there is a blue butterfly right here. Okay, we'll move those to the side. And that is finished. That seal, that's pretty cool. You get all three colors. Tuck that inside. So if you get the kit, you have the Graphic 45 tags. So I'll be using those. Those are my leftovers. You have 2 great-grandsons on the way, Connie? That's cool. Okay, now this one, so this is where I'm thinking when I first talked to everybody, we were going to go through here, and then Monday we'll pick up, and we might, because this one's going to take us just a little bit longer. So in your kit, you'll have the brown ribbon. If you don't have brown ribbon, or just some ribbon in your stash. So we're going to create these, and I know the left is the exact same as the right. And I did use the ivory cardstock. Like I said, this side is the same, again, for both sides of the family. So we're going to create these two guys first. And on your cutting guide, if you have it, this is back of page 2. And if not, you're just following along and writing it down with us. You're going to want to cut 2 6x12. Put this away. So you need 2 6x12. Then you're going to need 4 5 3/8 by 6 1/2. Sure everything's the same size. So 4 5 3/8 by 6 1/2. And 2 6x12s. We're going to start with the 6x12. We're going to score with the 12-inch across the top at 1 inch, 6 1/2. We're going to repeat with the second piece at 1 inch, 6 1/2. Connie, are they both due about the same time? Okay. These 5 3/8 by 6 1/2. The 6 1/2 at the top of your scoreboard is going to score at 1/2 inch. And then before we put these on, we are going to trim these. And I'll show you why. Need to get myself some ribbon out. Okay. Go ahead and grab just one. See, the bumps are in the back, so I'm going to fold. It doesn't matter. It depends on your cardstock, but I'm folding that one backwards, and then these two are going to come frontwards. You're going to match your edges and then hold it. Okay. Now what's going to happen is, let's go ahead and burnish 2 of these. Oh wait, I think I already gave you the cut down minute. I did. Okay, you don't have to cut these down. I did already. I gave you the 5 3/8 because when I originally made this, they were too close together. But the important thing is going to be when you attach these, one is to the edge. You got to go to these edges. Make sure you're attaching them to these outside edges. Okay. We're going to mat them first. This is where the ivory cardstock comes into play. And I also grabbed 6x8. And I used so you have, I think you have 2 or 3 of each. You have 2 of each. So I used this back side. And then what I did, see, it's the smaller print. Actually, I used both of them for this. So you'll need them both out. Then you've got your 12x12s also. I cut the front. And then we're going to cut these strips here at the bottom. And they're 3/4 of an inch, what was left of the paper. And then we will be cutting just these pieces to accent so that your photos have that really nice cream background. And this is also from your 6x8 paper pad. So let's go ahead and grab both if you have your 6x8 paper pad. Because the polka dots are not in the 12x12, and I really like those polka dots. So you'll need both of them. And then you'll need both of these to find it. But I'm using that side. So I'm going to close this first. And this is where we're going to put the matting of this paper. And then we're going to get the ribbon. So whatever you have that you want to use, I have a brown sheer. And I also, this isn't in your kit, but I didn't grab the brown sheer. So to keep, I don't like that. Let me go grab the brown sheer. Sorry about the interruption. That's the problem. They put it away on me. We had a massive cleanup session after all the kits went out. So I don't know where the girls put it. They went crazy cleaning. I'm going to tell you how much to cut. So I'm going to be using a little different ribbon than you if you have the kit, because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. So you have 2 pieces. And you're going to cut, so I'm just going to use this cream color. I'm cutting 2 17-inch pieces. And I do want to find the middle of this hinge piece. We have 1 inch to adhere down because it is quite heavy. So I want to mark this at 3. Now you need a hinge at the left-hand side, and you're going to need one at the right-hand side. So I fold that back. I'm going to fold that there to that edge. Yeah, and if it needs to move, go ahead and move it because you need these edges even. So I have a hinge to the right and a hinge to the left. So I'm going to mark this hinge also at 3. Now, this is where I do use scored tape. And I do want the ribbon on the hinge. It's going to keep you from tearing your paper. And we do want to put it down first so it's not forgotten. See, these will overlap. So I've just got a really thin one here. Okay, you don't want it to hang over that edge, and then it will come up over and around. Just to make sure I get them even. So again, it will come out over the fold. Lay those down and make sure they're going to meet. Five and a half inches. So what I did is I took the first one and I did cut. I cut from the top, and then this one, so I got a little different, I cut from the bottom, or vice versa, however you want. So we're going to cut these at 5 3/8. This one I'll cut from the top. I hope that makes sense. So I get this top half and then the bottom half. And your booklet here should be 5 1/2 by 5 1/2, or 5 1/2 by 6, sorry. So 5 7/8 is going to be my length. So from the top here, 5 7/8, and then 5 3/8. This will be used on the bottom. And then 5 3/8. Now this one, I'm going to cut from the bottom, my 5 7/8, and I will keep this. No, let's go that way. And then 5 3/8. Then that's going to overlap. So we want to cut the same with these two guys. So I'm going to do this on my big cutter because I can cut them both at the same time. So I'm just going to cut, first I'm going to cut my length, 5 7/8, and then 5 3/8. right, let's ink our edges and we'll put those down. And then we're going to put our flaps on. Okay, main thing is make sure you have these going the right direction before we put things down. And I apologize, you might hear a loud bang in a minute. Wilbur has his bowls, my beagle, and he might start throwing them down the stairs. It's not dinner time. He just thinks it is. I can hear him upstairs. He's carrying them around. Oh, he didn't throw them down. He said he can't. Good boy. He sat them down. Okay. That second piece, the yellow, we can go ahead and put on the back side. So basically it's like this to give you a better visual. We don't mat the inside quite yet. Okay. Now again, this string should be going to the left. The collage will go on the front. Oh, you guys must be working or quiet. Oh, there we go. Here comes the comments. Hi, Tina. Yes, I'm glad you guys are here. You know, we've been doing some Zooming, and I really like Zooming because we can talk back. So it's hard when I don't hear you guys. Okay, when I open, then the gold dots can go here back where the hinge is, just not on the inside. Oh, they push their big water bowl across the floor too, Connie. When it's empty, I'll hear it upstairs. They're dragging it. It's one of the big, big ones. You know, with the big water jug? Yeah. Okay. Fold over, string comes across the top. So let's do the inside. I'm going to set that one just to the side. We've already folded our score lines, so I'll miter these corners. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put these on and then mat them. You certainly can mat them first, but I'm going to mat them before it's in the book. Remember when adhering the flaps, these are your 5 3/8, adhere it to this outside edge. You need that space in the center. Because they'll hit. Now I did mine to go all up. I mean, you could have one come up, one come down. You definitely can change the orientation of your flaps. Now this needs to go to the outside edge near that score line where we've scored it. Okay, let's do the other two. Miter the corners. Grabbing the book. Now this one's going to open this way. These will still go at the top to your outside edges. Okay. Now, I did mirror images, mirror of each. Let me keep that down. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do these, and I'll go back to the album here in a minute and give you the sizes for the matting, because you could also leave this plain. It's totally up to you depending on how much paper you have. Now, these are 5 3/8. Oh, we got some glue. They're 5 3/8 wide. So I'm going to cut my strip. So also look at it and see, what this has a lot less. So I'm going to, I'm going to cut that edge off. I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/4. And then I'm just going to cut them down to 3/4, but looking at your images, so I'll have that on one side, and then we'll get more of the face, there we go, on the other side. And we'll do the same thing with this one, but I'm going to keep excuse me, more of that image. So I'm just kind of reversing. And let's see, nope, I did from the top. Get the old car in there. There's just some really cool graphics in here. In fact, I have a picture of my mother like that in front of a car. And these are, like I said, 3/4 of an inch. So I have 4 of those. Then what I did, I just placed these on the bottom. on all 4 of them. So we'll go ahead and ink our edges. And then I used ivory cardstock, and I'll give you the measurements. And I'll bring the page back on for you to see. So you could even use the back side. And ink all 4 images. Starting to shed. I am going to open this. There we go. So I have a better view of this section. And then I can keep them kind of level. This is where I did the ivory. So your ivory will be 5 1/4, or whatever you're using for your coordinating in here. Or like I said, you can leave this plain for pictures. If you, maybe if you don't have the availability, for paper, but it's 5 1/4, and then my length was 5. So 5 1/4 by 5. You'll want 4 pieces. Again, you can leave it plain. Let me do this side. So 4 of them. I won't mat those on camera. Because to be honest with you, it's not in the kit, so I don't want to show. I think I might use like the blue. But I don't want to do that where it's not in the kit. But if you wanted to buy extra of, if you wanted to buy extra of the coordinating colors, we have tons. I'm thinking I might go with that. And of course, you'd cut those the exact same size. So again, we're going to mirror both sides, but this time we're going to use the blue butterflies, not the blue butterflies, but this blue background. And it is from our 12 by 12 sheets. And I'll give you the name here in just a second. Kind of the reverse of that first one we used. And we already pulled one of these for our cover, and it's the life stories. And these were a little bit bigger. These are 1 inch. So I'm going to cut 4 1 inch by 5 1/4 inch pieces. I'm going to cut just the 1 inch pieces. Now the back side, is this. Let me move this. And let's see, I'll cut 2 1-inch strips. And then 5 1/4 4 times. Now for that, the back side. We're going to cut those 1 1/4. And I just went from this side. And this time we need to cut them the 5 7/8. So we'll need 4 of those. One and a quarter. So it will take 4 strips. Try this way. I kind of want to preserve that because I do think we've used it. So that will leave that piece for you. And 5 7/8. Hang on to these little guys, of course. Again, that blue is pretty on there. Okay, go ahead and ink those edges. We'll put these down, and then we can add our flaps to our page, and we'll mat the page, and we're good to keep moving. This paper is really fun to work with. I see something different every time I cut it. Okay, and my bottom pieces. And then for those of you that like to talk and be able to communicate back and forth, we do a live crop every Friday night on Zoom where we all crop together. So we have a lot of fun. And that is a monthly crop pass, just a $10. And then you join us on Zoom and we all craft and work together, and we have a lot of fun. So if you like to be able to communicate, do that on Friday nights. That's on the website. Okay. And if you get it today, you get 15% off because of the sale. Hi, Mary Jo. How are you? Okay, those are going on the bottom of that inside. These are 1 inch. So these are 1 inch. Our page was 6 inches. So that means this is going to be about 4 7/8. And it is 4 7/8 by 5 1/4. So you'll want to cut 4 pieces of your solid matting. We did. Thank you. I hope you did too. And add these on. Now, it is going to be easier on this. If you are wanting to mat those with the ivory, mat this before you put it in your book. So again, this is going to be 4 7/8 by 5 1/4 wide of the ivory cardstock, or any other color you choose. Ivory looks cool, I think. You know what? I thought about doing that, Margaret. I can. You know, we really should, so you get 15% off of it today for the sale. But you know what? We'll have a Cyber Monday sale, so I will add the annual crop for Monday, Margaret, and I'll put it so you get the 15% off. Okay, side pieces are 1 1/4. Let's not do those on top of each other. I put these to the outside edge. Again. So these are the 4 7/8. Yep, by 5 1/4. Now this one is going to be 5 7/8 long and 4 inches wide. So super simple. So cut the 4 7/8 by 5 1/4, ivory, white, black, whatever you're wanting to use. Then 4 inches by 5 7/8 for them for this side. But I'm just doing the pattern paper with you on camera. And also cover that hinge. Make sure you leave that space there on the edge. One to the outer edge here. Let's see. We'll put the house there. I follow an Instagram account called Charlotte's Happy Home. She just does home decorating. In fact, they're remodeling. They're restoring a vintage home. She actually found a newspaper from 38 or something in the walls. And it just reminds me so much of this. I thought that was so, so cool. Okay, folds this way. The bicycle to the outer edge. So again, 4 inches by 5 7/8 and 4 7/8 by 5 1/4 for your top. Or you can measure and cut them any size you like. Or I wouldn't leave this one plain, only because this 1/2 inch where we've connected, I don't like those showing, but you definitely could leave it plain and then add your photos. Time to move the heat. Okay, go ahead and just burnish these down. We're going to attach these to the page. What I did is grab your book. I am going to go ahead. I won't have any problem matting these while they're in the book. Because if you know, I use my fingers a lot. Did I put those in upside down? Oh, no, I did not. I thought I did. When I'm matting, if you notice, I hold it up and I mat like this. So you still can do it. Now, if you don't want to and you want to wait, that's fine. Go ahead and mark your page, though, at 4 inches. It's going to be kind of like a sewing pattern here. We're just going to mark 4. And 4. Again, you have where you don't want to go to the very, very, very bottom, you know, of this hinge into here. And then we've already basically, that's my center. So I'm going to match that ribbon right there up to my half of the page. And that's all there is to that. And add my adhesive. Oops, right on top of my ribbon. Art glitter glue will hold that. I'm going to clean up my glue first. I can't believe I just did that. Thank goodness it dries clear. Okay. So I'll match the ribbon to that tick mark I made. Ribbon to the right, same thing. I will match it, and it does sit right on top, but I still want to make sure that they're even. I mean, you could off center them, your album. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Instead of straight across the center. So see, you can definitely do a lot of different things, but my ribbons would not match, would be my problem. So if you want to do something like that, just take your ribbon off and recenter it and make it your own, how you want it to look. Again, stay right there where the page is. Don't go over into the hinge or the gusset area. Making sure those are straight. Making sure it turns okay, or if I have to move it, we're okay. I'm just going to cut those a little bit to get them out of there. We go. The way. Now we can mat the page. Now, so the page pretty much matches. Oh, we did use that house. But, how did I screw this up? Somehow, I screwed this up. It's okay, we're going to get creative. I'll have the strips on the side instead. So, it happens. We're going to mat the inside and have the strip at the bottom. maybe. So, hold that thought. Let me check something. I don't want to divert. Okay. Well, this is what we're going to do. To make this work, I am going to cut this 8 7/8. I'm going to cut it from the bottom. I don't know what happened. Sorry. Yeah, we're going to put that strip on. Exactly. You are so good, Jennifer. Because I don't know what happened again. And I had this all laid out. Well, life happens in the fast lane, guys. But we're actually going to take it from the butterflies. Hold on. I had quite a bit. Let's go with our 8 by 8, our 6 by 8. I'm just double checking on my scraps. There we go. Let's add some plaid. That will look very nice. Yeah, you know what? A lot of designers don't mat on camera for this reason. Yeah, if you cut your paper just one variance of what we did in the original. So we're going to add this. Now you can center it too. So we could center it, and then we could add little strips on the side. I'm going to do that. Or you can do it on the side. But yeah, I'm going to move it. Now, we have a little adjustment. So a half inch. So we're going to cut a 3/8 of an inch piece. Telling you, me and this cutter. There we go. So I went just a hair over 3/8 of an inch. I like it. See, it turned out good. It looks like the siding on the house, right? So I'm going to need 2 of those. What I did is I set it on the 3/8, and then I just went to the next tick mark, which is a 16th. But we need to cut it. I need to cut these at 7 7/8. Okay, so instead of the blue at the bottom, we have the plaids at the side. And I'll show you the two, but I really like the plaid on the side. So I'm not inking these either. They're so small, I'll just get ink everywhere. I like that. Now, another option is, I think I know what happened. It just now occurred to me. When I was when I did the first one, I did the matting. So I cut this at 8 3/8 and had that bottom left. That's what happened. So just now hit me. So my advice on this page, if you want to wait until we do the cover, something fell, and then do that. Otherwise, you will have this. And I apologize. But it's not a big disaster, which is, for me, hey, that's great. But I do like the plaid. Oh, Haley was baptized today. Well, that's awesome. And that's how it is closed. Oh, now, when I went back, I did the stickers. So I used This Is Us from the bottom. And then I used Family Tree. I brought the blue in. I'll put these on right now. And it's on these back pages. I always use the glue to make it permanent. And Family Tree. Put them here to the outside. And This Is Us. So brings in the blue. It looks really good. I'm not too distraught over it. This way. There we go. I wasn't getting a lot of the comments. Now I am. Cool. Make sure I didn't use, no, I didn't use any other stickers. Then we'll close that up. Now it was because of this page, one reason, see, that's much better with our 5/8 of an inch gusset even. That's a big help there. Okay, our next one, pretty easy here. We're going to be using the 6x8 paper pad. Is where this comes from. So we're going to create the pocket. And then we are going to go ahead and create this side. And this is where I had originally planned on stopping. Oh, and the front of page 3, the flap and pocket. And then Monday we will be going on, because like I said before, yesterday, I always think I can do it on camera and get it done with you guys super fast. It don't work that way. So front of page 2. So front of page 2 has the flap. That's going to be at the top. And then we'll use our 6x8 paper pad. Then we have a pocket that's 5.5 by 9. This is also where I used, in your kit, you got the graphic 45 tags. So this is where those were put inside, which are really nice to put photos on. So 5.5 by 9, 6.25 by 7.5. I did use a large magnet, and I'm going to also, like before, cut down my pocket just a tiny bit on that edge. Okay, those are the two sizes we're using. Yes, you know what? Well, oh, wait a minute. What do you mean, did Facebook? Yesterday, Facebook told me my video was nudity, and it was very sensitive, and it took down from my store page. Yes. Now this time, I don't believe it did. I think the first video was still on there. I'm just going to take a little bit off the edge. So yes, yesterday was quite interesting. I mean, the video started, they took it off. They said it was nudity. 9" at the top. We're going to score at 1/2 inch. We're going to turn to the 5.5 inch side and score at 1/2 inch. And again at 1/2 inch back on your 9" side. Then your 6.25 by 7.5 inch flap. Your 7.5 will go across the top, and we're going to score it 1/2 inch. Yeah, it was hilarious. The minute it hit the store page, it dinged back at me, and it was like, nope, you can't have this nudity on your store page. And I was very confused. Okay. Pocket at the bottom, but again, I'm going to check my size. That's why I trim it just a hair. It looks fine. This flap is going to go at the top in the center, just like so. Oh yeah, they'll be on YouTube. So this is the third video, but it does say Ancestry mini album continued. So there's 2 videos from today. We took a break, so you can. Video number 1 was yesterday, and these 2 today. We're going to stop after we get the back done, and I will continue with you on Monday. But we should have it done next week. We will have it done. Because our virtual retreat starts on Saturday, and it's a week long, so we have to get this done. Okay, I'm going to mat all these pieces first. And for your matting on the pocket, I used the silhouettes. It's called This Is Us. And then I did use the back. So I will be using this for inside of your pocket, our pocket, and then for the flap. Let's see, did we cut this 6.25? You know what? I think we need to adjust this to 6 and then 8. We do. Well, you don't have to. No, we don't have to. If you want, you can take an 1/8 off. If you want to double mat it, definitely. But so we're going to take 1 inch top and bottom. That looks just fine. It gives it a little more border. Oh, no, not 1 inch. Sorry. This is 6 by 8. No, our flap is 7, so it is 1 inch. So I'll take 1 inch off the top. An inch off the bottom, and I didn't mean to do that just in case we need it. What did I do? This is 8. This is 7. You only need a 1/2 inch off the top and a 1/2 inch off the bottom. So guess what? We're putting the polka dots at the bottom. So I'm going to cut this just 1/8 of an inch off. So don't do what I did. You do have another one. You only want to take a 1/2 inch off the top, a 1/2 inch off the bottom. So we're going to use this piece that I cut off for the bottom, but it looks okay. Oops. Okay, this is 7 inches. I'm telling myself this. This is 6 1/4. 6 1/8 by 6 7/8. This is going on the back side. Okay, back side, front side, we can go ahead and mat these. Ink your edges. And I'll ink my little accent piece. I really meant to do that. No, I'm kidding. I can also go at the top. I know that this is us. I thought it'd be cute to put in a frame as a background and then put some photos on. I really like this. Okay, now, since I made my little boo-boo here, let's see, do I want it at the top? At the bottom, I think. Oh, I thought so. Let me cut this down a hair. I got a little off center there. That works. Now, see, you guys would have thought I made it that way unless you saw me cut it. Now, I did get mine a little off-centered here, and I'm going to put it in my big dolly cutter, and I'm going to straighten it out. Much better. Now it looks more even to me. Okay, grab the page because this can go down. And it will sit at the top. And I'm just going to eyeball it. If you want to measure it, can definitely find your senders. Now, this does not have a magnet, and I'll show you. We had a stopper. We have a stopper that goes on the pocket using our ephemera, but I'm going to check our chip. No, I used that chipboard on the front, and we'll still use the ephemera. That's what I did is I just used the stopper that says family. Okay, pocket. Pocket's 5 inches by 8. So we're going to cut across it 4 7/8. By 7 7/8. Probably just a hair short. I know, because I made my pocket a hair short. Put our pocket down. Again, don't get it too close over there. You need your page to turn. Staying more to this outside edge. I'm using sepia. So it's the same as vintage photo, but you could use a brown. You could use a black. I have the Prima sepia. We have that in stock. I think the sale has been on, so you'll have to check the website. But I do have it. It's the Prima Color Philosophy with the magnetic lids, which I just love because then I never lose it. Okay, now for inside, then I used the back side of this one. And again, I just went an inch. So I went 4 inches by 7 7/8. I mean, you could even write in those squares if you wanted. I have to trim that just a little bit. See, there it is. It's upside down. There you go. I have a gray also, the truffle. I almost used it. I have a great big one somewhere. Anyway, the truffle, it's like a gray, and it looks great with this. Oh, it's time for that new sponge. The gray looks really good too with this. Oh, there's always that one side. Come on. Okay, now to keep that closed. So it's totally up to you. Hi, Trisha. You are going to have quite a bit of ephemera left over. I mean, the ephemera for this collection was just utterly amazing, I thought. But you need to have something kind of small. And let's see if I took it from the portraits. No, it was not from portraits. So it is from this one. And it says My Family. Oh, it's right here. And no, it's not very strong, but it holds it. So if you want to fussy cut, you can. But you need to have it, flexible. And this one's been being played with quite a bit. And it does, it's holding. I mean, you don't want somebody to come along and rip it, but it is doing its job. So you certainly could back it on some cardstock if you'd like. It will be a little bit stiffer, or maybe you just want to use like a piece of the okay guys, where'd it go? There it is. A piece of the coordinating cardstock here. And you know, I think I will. Let's do that. Let's make it a little bit stronger. But it has been holding just fine. I don't know about you guys, but I love this paper. I could work with it. I mean, I could keep going all day. I just don't get tired of it. I see something, like I said, different every time. Now, when fussy cutting something like this, you don't have any real guidance because it's pretty straggly. And I like that kind because I don't have to be perfect. So just kind of turn it and let your scissors do its thing, because you'll see this isn't, there's no real straight lines or anything to this. I don't know about you guys. I love Saturdays when I can just craft all day. That looks really good. You know what? I was too, Jennifer, and I got it out one night. Well, we were Zooming, and I was like, I think I'm going to try something with this paper, and I fell in love with it. Okay, now the trick here is, let's just hold it. Let's do a couple practice runs. All right, it does need to go right to the bottom, and I'm only going to come up about 1/4 of the way with my adhesive. Are you leaving a border? Am I leaving a border what, on my fussy cutting? Yes. Can you see that border around the gold? That's perfect. Works great. And then if you have the kit, then you'll have your graphic 45 tags. And I put 2 of them in here, so I'll just put them in there so I know to come back. And what I do is I'll just take my scraps at the end. Well, you're about 2 days late, Trisha. No, we started it yesterday, and this is the second one today. So I did put 2 in there, and that will hold it. Okay, now let's do the back of this page, which I'm super excited about because we're going to do it with our frames. I love this. So we're going to use the chipboard frames in your kit. This was just a piece of the ivory cardstock, and I slid it in there so that the recipient can see the variants here. So we're going to do this page, and then we're going to stop because this has been 2 hours. Then we will start Monday. So I'll probably do a Monday afternoon and a Monday evening with you guys so that we can go ahead and get it all finished. But your frames. So in your kit, you have the chipboard frames, which are my favorite. And Jennifer, her YouTube is Scrapping Under the Influence. Okay, Jennifer Palmer has done videos using these frames, and she has done them page by page, and they're just adorable. So the first one I used on this side. Oh, and on here we're going to also be using, if you have the kit, you have a piece of burlap in there. This one on the front, and as you can see, it's different, but we turn it this way for the front. I know you were in, well, I finished. Oh yeah, we started today, and we're still working. So I chose this one that says Together because it went with those blue flowers. And really, I mean, you could go with, just as long as it fits, of course, you could use this one. This could also go to the side, but I used this one. So these are the 3 that I use in this album. You will have these guys left over, or you can still put them in your album anywhere that you want. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to mat the page. We're going to mat the page, so you want to get out the piece with these beautiful blue flowers. And it is called, find it. It is Always and Forever. Now what I did is I cut it from this side. So I had those blue flowers there. The frame will come over here. And so from this edge and the top, I'm going to cut this at 7 7/8 by 7 7/8 into it. Cut that header off, and I'll cut 7 7/8. Beautiful piece, isn't it? And then I will turn it this way and cut 7 7/8. I just love this page. And we will go ahead and put our matting down after, if you want to ink your papers. Now, before I do put down my frame here in a minute, I am going to grab my burlap, and you have a couple of small pieces there in your kit, and they're for accenting. Okay, border on there. This is going to go down. I'm going to grab the burlap and my twine so that I can make the bow. It almost fell. So I'm going to take about a 3-inch piece. what that is. Kind of messy to work with, but it adds just a little bit of layer there. And I'll cut it in half. I'm going to pull out some of the threads. What I did is I just put this on the corner using score tape, just for it to grab a hold of, and then we'll use glue too. Add some fibers. You could definitely add more, and I will be adding a bow. Now in some of your kits you have a darker, no, you have a probably a different color twine, because we ran out of the other color for the kits, but this one is gorgeous too. So what I'm going to do is cut it in half. I'll use half on the front, and I think I use half on the cover. I'm just going to fold it into halves or fours, however you want. Just going to tie into a bow here. We'll fan it out in just a moment, because it's going to go here at the top. Like so. Whoops, it stuck to me. Okay, I'm going to take out that piece because this was just a scrap. Basically, I want something there because that's going to give me the guides as to where to glue my frame down. And of course I want this side left open so we can slide a photo in. Oh, good night, Candace. I need to bring it down a little bit more. I don't know what, oh, it's a piece of paper stuck. Okay, now I'm going to go along those areas. Let me tell you what size this paper is. That will help you. I believe it's 4 by 6. No, it's 5 7/8 by 3 7/8. And all you need is a scrap, or if you want to leave it in there. Oh, that's painful. I'm going to add my adhesive here on top of my burlap along this bottom. Art glitter glue does well with burlaps. Get right to the edge. Now, clothespins are a great help with this because it is heavy. Let's get those edges. While that dries, now I can go ahead and add, or you can use hot glue if you like. Like I said, art glitter glue does well when it comes to this burlap. And then I used one of those brads, one of our brads. And I also used one of the chipboards. So the chipboard, I took the camera. It's a camera with the mom. Oh, it took the backing off. Okay, well, we're going to glue it anyway. I would not pop this up on foam tape. I originally did that, and it's too much for this side of the book. So do adhere it down just by itself. And then I took the word generations out of your ephemera pack. I should have grabbed it. Oh, no, I did. It looks like this, but it's generations. Nope, that was not a sticker. It is. You know, I've tried to sort things out before and it don't work with me, so I apologize. But you kind of get a look-see when I'm going. There's some just beautiful. You could do some really pretty letters with this. Attach it to them, cards. Okay. Well, it is in here. This says remember, but I want generations, and I put generations right there. Make sure it's not in the second one. Oh, maybe they did put it in the second one. They have our family, memories, no, reunion, special bonds. Okay, so heritage, memories. They did separate them. There's generations. Generations is in the, it's not in the ephemera one. It is in the other portraits, in the portrait pieces, which is pretty cool. So I just glued that down. I have been live 4 hours today, but I've enjoyed every minute of it with you guys. Sometimes you're just in the mood to do it, right? And then from our brads, I used, I used This Is Us. Okay. Ooh, these are all coming off. That's unusual. And I'm just going to glue this right in the center. It won't reach. So we're going to hold that for a moment. I want that to dry. I need to reach up and grab it, but it needs to dry. Maybe I glued the paper in there. I got some of it in there, which is fine. I'll just glue those corners back down. There we go. So we're good. I don't want to push it too much because even though it's dry, it's there. And then after your, oh, that side's perfect. It was just the top. After it's dry, and when I put my picture in, a lot of times I'll just glue the side or just leave it once you get your photo inside of there. That looks pretty cool in there too. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop because I know you guys are sick of me too. And I'm sure you've got other things to do, but here's what we got done today. I think it turned out really good, even with the little switcheroos, and really happy with it. So we had a few changes, Pamela, due to the cut, but I love it. I love the colors. I just love it. I just love this paper. And then we created our little pocket and flip, and our frame. So Monday, I'll post the times on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. More than likely, I will do a morning and we'll do an evening. So we'll move on, and this is the beginning of page 2, 3, the front of page 3. So we'll have a pocket, again, your graphic 45 tags that were in your kit, or you can purchase them separate, and your pocket folds down. Large magnet. And then, so Monday, we'll plan on Monday morning creating this part, and probably we'll come back in the evening and we'll create the rest. So this is our nice big waterfall, or we'll see, maybe we'll do it all in one sitting. And then you have, no, these are just your cut aparts that fit in there. 2x2s, I cut that intentionally to fit those 2x2s. And for this one, you do need a magnet. Of course, I killed that corner. I really got to fix that corner. I don't know how I managed. But isn't that cute? That's from those, I did a girl on the front and the boy on the back of your clothespin. That's not how it's supposed to go. I don't know what I did to the corner of this poor little pocket. Graphic 45 tags and 2 large magnets. So this is where you'll use your ephemera if you want. You can definitely, we'll make just little tuck spots here. Actually, this is what's cut off from the graphic 45 tag. Then we'll do another repeat. It's the pocket with our 6x8. And then booklets for more photos. And then, so we'll be finished. We'll finish this up next week. Then we have a belly band with a pocket. It's also a big pocket. Or you can put things also back behind there. And we'll do the cover, and we'll be all finished with our heritage album, which is a great, great Christmas gift. Great Christmas gift. I know mine is going to be. This one is. So I can't wait to get it finished with you. Okay, guys, I'll see you Monday. I'll post the time over on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. And if you're in that group, then you get notifications and you know right away when I go live. So, well, you should if you're getting notifications, right? So I'll see you Monday then, and we'll continue making our heritage album. Bye, everybody. Have a great Sunday tomorrow, too.